What is going on, guys? I hope everyone's doing well today, and as always, I hope you're staying at least 6 feet away from every other human being on the planet, washing your nasty ass hands, and sneezing and coughing into your elbow, and then not doing the elbow bump with your friends and family and stuff. Don't do that. And don't lick your damn fingers after eating like chicken wings and stuff like that. Don't do that either. So big congrats to Crypto Giver. He won 0.2 ETH last night from the Mystery Man, which is awesome. We're going to do it again tonight. It's going to be 0.2 ETH again. We're going to do that every night this week, Monday through Friday. So it'll be one full ETH at the end there. Maybe a little bit less for that very last one. I might try to make up the transaction fees or something somehow, but anyway, so tonight we're going to do another giveaway. It's always good, you know, like I said last night, to do something positive, and whenever the world's gone to shit. It hasn't, but you know what I mean. Things aren't the greatest right now, but you've heard about the Mystery Man on Brandon Coin's stream and on Red Panda Mining stream. He donated 2 full ETH to my viewers, which is awesome. And we gave away 1 full ETH. We did 5 giveaways on Saturday, and then I decided to kind of spread it out over a week, you know, to kind of give people more chances to win and stuff like that. You know, just spread it out, make more use of it instead of just giving it all at once. So he's an extremely generous guy. He wants to remain anonymous. I wish that I could like personally thank him somehow, other than just mentioning his mysterious pseudo-anonymous name of Mystery Man. Well, actually, that's fully anonymous, I guess. Yeah, and I'm sure that the winners also would like to thank him. I guess as long as you type into the chat like, "Hey, thanks, Mystery Man," or post on my Twitter feed or whatever, you know, just thanking him, because you know, I don't know, it's super generous, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, Mystery Man. All right, let me check the chat real quick and see who all's in here. What is up? Got a few people in here. That's good. Chancoin, Deadwood, what's up? Paul, Mining for Mine, Travis, AG, Abhinav, what is going on? Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, what's up, Shuby? Smash that like, all that stuff. Let me post it in here again, just in case. Give you the instructions. Now, I did mix it up a little bit. Don't be mad at me. I did mix this up just a tad because it's like, you know, 0.2 ETH is a pretty significant amount, so I figured I would make people kind of do a little bit of work on their end to kind of earn it. And I realized, I'm fully aware that you can just cheat, and you know, obviously you could Google it, you could look at other people's answers, whatever. But this is just for fun, guys. So just make it happen. Put something in there. Maybe put a positive comment on top of the answer to the question. But the question is, how many blocks are between BTC difficulty adjustments? And so that is the question. So you have to put that answer and your ETH address into the comments of this video right here. All right, so let me see if there's any in here yet. Doesn't look like it. Okay, there's some coming in now. All right, cool. So you got to do this, and don't forget to put the answer in there, guys. I don't see any answers in here yet. Oh, here's one right here. So see. All right, yeah, let's just let's get the answers in there too. You can just edit your comment or whatever. Just make sure you get the answer in there so that we all can play fair, by the rules and stuff like that. All right, let's look at, I know I've been doing this all week so far. Let's look at the coronavirus status right now. It has increased. I mean, you're gonna see this a lot. I mean, there's some speculation that it's going to double every 6 days. You know, that is that's not good. So I do have a little article here on 5 things to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And yeah, so I think it's something that we should all practice. And it's important. I think that the most significant part of what's going on with this virus is that you can have it without knowing it, right? So that's the real dangerous part. And because you can have it the whole time and not have any symptoms and still shed that virus and give it to other people. So that is the dangerous part about this particular virus. Many of the other viruses, the regular flu virus, normally whenever you get it, you got it, you're sick. But in this case, you might not have any symptoms and you're still carrying it. So it's almost like the Walking Dead virus, right? Because you can have it and not know it. I don't know if anybody watches that show, but in the very first season, they learned that everybody carried this, whatever was causing them to come back to life as undead after they were killed. So yeah, you can have this without knowing it. So that's an important aspect of it. I'm trying to remember where we were at yesterday, but these numbers seem to be about in line with doubling every 6 days. So I don't know where everybody's at. Here's Europe down here. I know I've got some European viewers as well. And there's some that are missing the changes. I don't know if maybe it's something to do with the reporting or what, but like China is not reported up here either. So I don't know what that means. And I'm not sure that this number is accurate either, because I'm pretty sure we can't really trust a lot coming out of China. Although they have sent some doctors and nurses and staff here to help us, so that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get on with the 5 coronavirus facts. And see, my channel is, I think my channel is small enough where I can actually say that and I don't get hit or anything because I'm not monetized, right? So, and I'm not monetized by choice. I could monetize, but I'm not. I actually clicked the button to enable the super chat and stuff, but I don't know how long that takes, but it's not enabled yet, I don't think. If it is, y'all know more than me. What's up, Crypto Mikhail? Mike, what's up, man? Let's try to win some ETH there, Crypto Mikhail. All right, so let's look at this article real quick here, because Miami caught some flack about spring break and having people still out there. You can see the little sign there that says social distancing, protect others and stuff. But this is just real quick, 5 things. Basically, people are contagious very early on in the infection, potentially even before they're symptomatic. Like I said, they shed huge amounts of the virus and can leave it all over the place. And in this article here, they talk about how it can take up to 11 days. Only, some people were saying like 2 or 3 days. Well, only 2.5% of people show symptoms 2 days after exposure, right? 97 of those were symptomatic after 11 days. So that's why they're saying to quarantine for 14 days, because if you don't have anything in 14 days, then you're probably good. But you have to be quarantined because otherwise you could have caught it on your 5th or 6th day in quarantine, so to speak, right? And then now you have it and now you're spreading it. So you got to keep that in mind. It's kind of like it's a hidden thing, right? Another important aspect is that it actually lives on surfaces for up to 3 days. And depending on the type of surface it is, I guess copper, it lasts about 4 hours. It looks like, that could be something like a rail, a door knob, whatever. It says here that it can live on cardboard for up to 24 hours, plastics and stainless for up to 2 or 3 days. So cardboard, it would be something like Amazon shipments, right? So it can live on cardboard for up to 24 hours and everything else 2 or 3 days, it looks like. And it also depends on what type of shedding was done to get the virus on it. Like if you had the virus and you sneezed on especially if you're showing symptoms and you sneezed on a piece of cardboard, I would imagine that it might stay there. It might be able to survive longer than 24 hours. No telling. I mean, I don't know how all that stuff works, but just keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about going out and mingling or whatever, right? So the rate of infection is growing exponentially at this pace. It looks like I was saying earlier, the virus is going to double every 6 days. The number of people with the virus doubles every 6 days. And it's not just old people. This is kind of a myth. You know, a lot of people were saying in the beginning that it's only old people. They were calling it the boomer remover or whatever. But that is not the case. 38% of people who were hospitalized for COVID-19 were between ages 20 and 54. So this information doesn't mean that you doesn't mean you should panic, but you need to take the pandemic seriously. Everyone has a responsibility, and this comes down to, you know, okay, you might not be symptomatic. People around you might not be symptomatic, but you could be spreading it to people that could literally die from it, right? So it's important for you to stay vigilant, self-quarantine or quarantine, whatever they're calling it now. Social distancing. I know they came up with a politically correct word for it, but it's basically the same thing as quarantine. So, you have this responsibility to not only protect themselves, but to protect their friends, family, neighbors, and community. You don't want to be a vector of the virus. Okay, so enough of the virus talk. I know you guys love that stuff, but I think it's important because a lot of people, I see people talking about it in a really non-serious way, and it's one of those things that should be taken seriously, whether or not you believe it or not. So, Deadwood, you're gonna get caught by the bot. My very detailed moderator that I have, my moderator bot. All right, let's get into a little bit of news. Let's see where I'm at over here. Actually, you know what? Let's look at the market real quick. So the market, if you do a 1 day, it looks pretty good. You know, again, if you go out a little bit and go to 7 days, I think it's still okay. This looks really nice, right? 7 days ago, it was 5,500, I believe. But if you go out a month, you know, you got not so great. All right, so just keep that in mind. You know, you kind of zoom out sometimes and figure out what's going on. We're not looking bad. I don't think that this is horrible. Although, when compared to the Dow Jones, you know, there was no correlation there, right? So the Dow just went nuts today, and I don't see that there was the same correlation that we kind of had going down. It seemed like there was some correlation. Obviously, you know, people talk about the correlation and how that works, but, you know, if you're like a normal person, right, a normal investor that's not all in on one thing, you know, they might have some money in crypto, some money in traditional stocks, right? So if things aren't looking good, they'll pull their money out of both because they want to go to cash. And that's kind of why you would see some correlation. It's about people. It's not about the market itself. It depends on the people that are in the market and what they do. So it's very, there's some nuance there because you can't just say that people are only crypto or only traditional stocks, right? It normally doesn't work like that. A lot of people that I talk to, you know, viewers and on Twitter and stuff, they're in traditional markets also. So it's not just crypto and not just traditional. So yeah, my point is that it wasn't very correlated today, right? It is up a little bit, but not as much as what the traditional market did today. All right, so hopefully you guys are getting your comments in here. Do a little refresh here. Make sure this stuff is going well. I forgot to bring up the comment picker here. Hang on a second. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, so that's over there. All right, my bad. Flipping around a little bit here. Yeah, I was going to, while I'm doing that, actually, I'll bring that up and show y'all. This is a really good quote here. Whoops. about monetary things, and I'll let you read this while I'm doing what I was doing over here. And iniquity means like immoral, right? I just gotta get a couple things up over here, so. Alright. Forgot to get the comment picker up. Need to do that. Yeah, so I like that. I bolded that last sentence there, you know, but if you wish to remain the slaves of the bankers and pay the cost of your own slavery, let them continue to create money, which is exactly what they're doing right now. I think I saw something come across that this stimulus was supposed to be something like 6 trillion for the coronavirus stimulus package. That's insane. That's like $38,000 for every American, for every citizen. Wow. And they're talking about just giving us, you know, giving people that make less than 99 or 75,000 or something like that, $1,200 each adult, $500 per kid. I don't know, man. Where's the other 36,000? It's I'll tell you what it is. It's this right here. We went from this to this right here. Golly, it's so brutal. All right, let me see where I was here. Losing track of my spot here. All right, I got this. Get out of here, get out of here. I know, I should have done this before. Alright, so that looks about right. We have 20 viewers right now, so feels about right. So that'll be towards the end that we'll do that. Alright, so don't forget to put the answer to the question on there. And the question is, how many blocks are there between difficulty adjustments for Bitcoin? Alright, so we looked at the market a little bit. Also show you what I'm mining. These two rigs, the shared rigs, are still off. I'm doing reconfig, and actually I could show you what I'm doing right now. Basically, I was bringing, you know, it was an 8 GPU Veta frame. They're kind of super wide, right? There's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches maybe in between each GPU. So I feel like it was taking up a lot more space than it really needed to. Even though the GPUs are, you know, fans on the side, normal traditional looking fan or GPU cooling fan, I think that putting them a little bit closer together won't really change anything with regards to the heat. So just a little bit closer. Now I'm putting them on a 6 GPU frame, which looks like, you know, it's the Veta frame. It looks like that. So it's a little bit less wide, right? Same depth, but less wide. And I think it's going to be better. It'll be better for me for moving the rigs around and positioning them where I need them instead of this huge 8 GPU frame. But I'm going to have to modify the frame a little bit to incorporate the additional 2 GPUs. So I got to drill some holes in like the rail that holds the GPUs and figure out where everything else is going to go. It's going to be kind of tight, but I did it on another rig also. I actually had one of the 6 GPU beta frames with 11 RX 580s on it. So, and it worked out fine. Nothing was really too hot. I mean, it did, because they were so close. I mean, they were like that close. It did affect the heat a little bit for those. So I started taking them apart and kind of spreading things out a little bit just to make it a little bit better. Drop the temperature a little bit. And as far as what I'm mining on my own rig, I'm still mining Zell. Have been for more than a month now, and just letting it crank out over there. You're seeing the GPU fans are going crazy right now because I got the door shut and it's getting really hot in here. But yeah, I'll open that back up. Normally the temperatures aren't that bad. All right. So how long are Bitcoin block times? Like how much is in between each block, or on average, what is that supposed to be? If you don't know, this is going to be like a real quick little lesson in Bitcoin. So it's about 10 minutes. Most people know all this stuff, but you know, I don't know all my viewers right now, so I don't talk to all of them, so I don't know where you're at in your Bitcoin trivia knowledge or anything like that. But there's 10 minutes in between each block, so it's basically on average 10-minute block times. Halvings occur every 210,000 blocks, and there's only been 2 halvings so far. So the next halving is on block 630,000. So you can do the math there. You know, the first one was at 210,000, the second one was at 420,000, and the third one is going to be at 630,000. The current block is 622,841, 622,841. And that puts the halving to be around May 18th of this year. So we're about 50 days away, something like that. It's going to change a little bit, plus or minus, because we are seeing a little bit of a change in network hash rate. Difficulty might change a little bit, but that's that little trivia question that I'm having you post on to win the 2 ETH, because it's important to know how long of a time is there between difficulty adjustments on the Bitcoin network, because you can kind of time things like that. If you see the network hash rate go down a lot, then you know that something's going to happen with the difficulty, and you'll know about when that difficulty is going to occur. That difficulty adjustment is going to occur if you know how many blocks are in between the time, right? And how long of a time. So all these Bitcoin miners, they calculate all this stuff into when they need to turn their miners on right now. Anyway, when they need to turn miners on, when they need to turn them off, when they need to upgrade, they calculate all this stuff. So they are, you know, in tune with. A Bitcoin miner is going to be able to answer all these questions very easy because it's used in their calculations. So yeah, it's about 50 days from now. The halving is going to go from 12.5 BTC to 6.25 BTC per block. How would you like to hit a block of Bitcoin? That would be pretty sweet, right? It's basically 6 blocks per hour, or 144 blocks per day. And currently that means that there's 1,800 BTC per day, which equates to, at 6,500 per Bitcoin, that's about $11.7 million per day that is issued out, or that miners accumulate through mining rewards. $11.7 million per day. That's a lot. But after the halving, if nothing changes, by nothing I mean the hash rate and the difficulty, there will only be 900 BTC per day. And if nothing changes, like I said before, that will be 5.85 million per day. So if you were a Bitcoin miner and you were thinking about this, what would be your plan to continue operations after the halving? And how is that going to potentially affect the value of Bitcoin? Right? Because you, as a miner, you're probably going to be selling a large portion of your Bitcoin in order to pay bills. So it's something to factor in there. And you can plainly see that if the price doesn't recover, then Bitcoin mining won't be profitable for many of the current miners. So if you think that miners don't play a part in the value of Bitcoin, you're wrong, because they do. But if you don't believe that they play a part, then the halving itself will have no effect, because if the miners don't have any impact on the value, on the price of Bitcoin, then the halving is a non-issue, because the halving has to do with rewards. So, you know, don't be naive and think that miners don't have anything to do with the value, because they absolutely do. All right, let me check the chat. I'm running long. I'm always a chatter person. I'm always talking too much. All right, let's see. Did I say 2 ETH? I said 0.2 ETH, Crypto Pope. You wish. You wish. All right, so there's 22 people in here. See a few new people, Celeste and Hard Time Wrenchers. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it a bunch. Make sure you do the giveaway. Enter for the giveaway anyway, if you haven't already. I don't know if the mods have been posting that in here or not, but there you go. Yeah, exactly. Deadwood. We are the work. We're the network. We are the network miners. I mean, I'm not Bitcoin mining, but you know, the Bitcoin miners are the network for sure, and they do impact the value. They do have an effect on the value. Yeah, miners, right here it says it all. Miners are the backbone of Bitcoin and any other proof of work based cryptocurrency. I really want to get through the rest of this content here, but I guess I'm just going to have to do the giveaway and get out of here, because I'm sure that Brandon Coin is also going live, I would imagine. Don't know for sure. All right, so let's check the video here. Got 25 comments here, 37. All right, so we've got, but there's not that many viewers. There's only 22 viewers. So some people are getting out of here or something. You got to be present to win. That's part of the thing. So you have to be in here. You have to be in chat. All right, it's 9:59, so I'm going to draw in just about 30 seconds. So just to reiterate, you have to have your ETH address. You have to have the answer to the question of how many blocks are in between difficulty adjustments for Bitcoin, and your ETH address, if I didn't say that already. And the video that you're commenting on looks like this. Took apart a GPU and did a repasting on it, 1 of the gigabytes. All right, so here we go. Let's get back over here. Get YouTube comments. 38. Okay, so somebody just got in there, so that's good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Stephen Day. Stephen Day, are you in here? Stephen Day, let me know if you're in the chat. It does not look like it. I can't ask the Streamlabs mod if he's in here. Shubi, are you still in here? I do not see Stephen Day popping up on the auto resolve in the chat there. I'm thinking that he's not here, guys. I'm thinking that he's not here, so give me a second. Stephen Day. Are you here, sir? And he's right with the question. It's 2016. Shubi, you don't see Stephen Day in the chat anywhere, do you? I don't remember him even saying anything the whole time, so Interesting. Maybe he came over from Twitter, because I did do a post and he just saw the video and didn't realize that he has to be here. But, oh, there he is. Okay, so he is here. Sorry, guys. Stephen Day is here. I see him right there. All right, here we go, Stephen. I'm going to send you your 0.2 ETH. Let me know when you get it. .2 ETH. Just check this. Something doesn't look right with that, but I guess it could be right. All right, let's give it a shot. Says it went. Says pending. So let me know whenever you get it or whenever you see it coming into your wallet there. Yeah, very cool. I like seeing new viewers, you know, win something too. That's kind of cool. It's nice to see older viewers too. I'm happy for whoever wins. That's the way I do it. Doesn't matter to me as long as somebody does. And you got to think, Mystery Man, wherever he is. So spam the number 1 in chat here if you want me to continue going and cover a little bit more Bitcoin Bitcoin news or information or whatever. Just throw up a bunch of ones in there. Let me know if that's what y'all want. I guess Brandon Coin's not live yet. No. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. I will press on. We will keep going here for a little bit. So let's talk about this a little bit. You know, this is basically talking about the halving and how, you know, recent sell-off and the block times because of the sell-off. And well, I guess the way it would work, actually let's read a little bit here so I don't get this mixed up. Yeah, the hash rate noted a serious plunge down to 82, and I think the highest was something like 136 or something. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat over here. I need to quit doing that. So when the value of BTC increases, I'm sorry, when the value of BTC decreases, then mining equipment basically gets shut down, right? At least some of it. And when Bitcoin was at 9K, block times were decreasing all the way down to 8 minutes because the value was worth enough and people were turning on more machines, more miners, more ASICs, and mining and increasing the hash rate, which whenever it was lower, the difficulty was low enough for them to be profitable, right? So whenever Bitcoin price increases, you'll see more machines come online, but that also increases the hash rate, difficulty, and all those other things. But you'll see the, because of those 2016 blocks, that's basically 2 weeks, right? On average, it's about 2 weeks. And you can kind of see that if you look at a difficulty chart this is the difficulty chart for Bitcoin. So you can kind of see, if you were to measure these out, there are some provisions for small changes in between, I believe, depending on what's going on the network. But for the most part, you can see that there's 2 weeks in between each one of these big jumps, right? And you can see where each one of the difficulty adjustments were made. So you can see how the value, the price, the value, the USD value, or the value of Bitcoin actually affects whether or not people turn their miners on or not. It applies the same to GPU miners. As you know, whenever we see a coin that's, remember what Ethereum Classic did recently was pretty nice. Not real recent, but it did go on a pretty good run, and everybody was throwing their rigs on Ethereum Classic, and then you saw the difficulty increase, profits were down, you know. So it's this perfect thing that happens with blockchain networks, like self-regulating, right? It's so cool the way that this works. Difficulty high, people turn their miners off. Difficulty drops, you know, hash rate drops, difficulty drops over time. In Bitcoin's case, it's 2 weeks roughly. So it's just this, it's really cool the way that part of crypto works. It's really cool. I could talk about that stuff all night. But because the value was increasing, the block times were all the way down to like 8 minutes. And whenever they were going through that, whenever it was down to 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes, they were actually, they being, you know, news outlets for crypto, were saying that it could potentially be pulled back up into April, right? If it stayed on that steady course of 8 minutes, which it's not going to, because every 2 weeks, if the block time is 8 minutes, then in 2 weeks or sooner, depending on when it became 8 minutes, right? Then the network is going to self-adjust at that 2 week mark and make it change the difficulty so that the average block time is 10 minutes. That's the way the network works. That's the way it's hard-coded to work. Most networks are like that. Most crypto networks are like that. And it's got this adjustable thing that it does to increase or decrease the difficulty to make 10-minute block times on average. So that's the way that works. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be pulled up into April. That was some pretty heavy speculation. It didn't, you know, it doesn't look like that was going to happen. The value actually plummeted all the way down to 3,800, 3,600 on some exchanges. And mining equipment, because there's basically globally, I think the minimum that Bitcoin can be is about 3,200 before pretty much every miner has to turn off, or else they're not profitable anymore, right? But at 3,800, you're going to see mining equipment cut off because not everybody has that cheap of electricity. So once they started getting turned off, the difficulty dropped. Not the difficulty, but the hash rate dropped. The difficulty stayed the same. But so that made block times actually increase to like 14 minutes. So now it looks like, because of all this chaos, it seems like it's going to be about mid-May for the halving. So I think we've been saying like May 15th, May 18th. We're not going to know until we get closer. And if the markets go crazy, it could swing wildly one way or the other. Although we don't have that much time left, because, you know, if the difficulty's every 2 weeks, then we would only have maybe 2 more difficulty changes between now and then. So something to consider. So since the halving actually decreases the daily supply, you may be able to apply a real loose theory of supply and demand to Bitcoin, but you have to remember that the most significant requirement for all this to go as planned and have an increased value in Bitcoin is you have to have at least the same or higher demand for BTC after the halving. Because if the demand decreases, then that's going to be bad. That's going to be a really bad thing for Bitcoin, after the halving, because not only do you have reduced rewards, but you also have, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the decreased value of the coin itself, right? So now you have decreased rewards, so the miners aren't incentivized to actually support the network, potentially. So if the value stays at 6,500 after the halving, we're gonna have a problem. And I don't mean like right after, right? I mean like within a month or two after it. If it doesn't move, yeah, that could be really bad. We might be in trouble if that is the case. I need to start giving, whenever I show these articles, I need to start showing like where it's from and who wrote it and actually saying it, because I'm bad about that. I'm bad about just going to an article and reading it and highlighting stuff and then not talking about who wrote it. So here, Bhushan Akulkar, I don't know. All right. So there is this theory that can't really be confirmed, but it sounds like it's possible that Bitcoin miners have coordinated to pump and dump the Bitcoin market, and they did this by holding their coins. So the way that this works, Bitcoin miners mine, and then they receive the rewards in Bitcoin, and if they don't sell those coins, then there's less supply. There's less new supply, right? If they hold those coins, then there's less for people to buy. So if there is a demand for Bitcoin, and in the early part of the year there was, but the miners are actually holding all the Bitcoin that they're mining. And I remember seeing articles about this too, about them saying, no, we got it. We're good for, the rest of the year or 2 years or whatever. We have enough stored Bitcoin to get us through the hard times, right? And so that's kind of like the theory, is that they were holding all these Bitcoins and that they've mined. And I think through February, it went to 10,000, right? I believe that's right. So they were holding their freshly minted coins all that time through the beginning of the year and through February, and that caused the price to run up over 10,000. And then all at once, they dumped all those freshly minted coins. And there's network analysis that kind of correlates this and makes it seem like it's very possible that happened. They caused it to run up to 10,000. They dumped all their coins at once, and they caused that crash down to 3,850, 3,800, 3,700, whatever it was. And that's because these short-term holders, you can tell whenever a coin is first spinned, whenever it's got its Coinbase, then that means that it's a minted coin that was in that wallet, right? And it hasn't been spent yet. They dumped 281,000 Bitcoin. Short-term holders dumped 281,000 Bitcoin starting in mid-February, I think. And all this kind of timed with the virus, the coronavirus, having an effect on the market, plus their plan to possibly pump and dump, manipulate the market a little bit. Now you might be wondering, okay, so why would they do that? What are they going to benefit from that? And you can see right here, the reasoning behind this theory is that miners coordinated to take control of the market ahead of the block halving by pushing out smaller miners who were using leverage positions on BitMEX. So if you're a smaller miner, you might need to leverage trading on an exchange in order to survive, right? Against the big boys, that have tens of thousands of ASICs, and you might only have 1,000, for example, or 2,000. I don't know what the standard farm size is, but just picture a smaller miner that has to actually trade and try to leverage their trades on an exchange in order to survive and actually keep up with everybody. So that's what they're doing. I guess that the big players, the big miners, knew that, and they're like, hey, we can liquidate these guys and get them out of the market by doing what they did, if that is in fact what they did. So it pushes out smaller miners who were using those leveraged positions on BitMEX, and also to shake out manipulators like Plus Token. That was the scam coin, you know, that had, man, I can't remember how many Bitcoins they had. It was a lot though, 100,000, more than 100,000, I believe. And they wanted to also push out institutional investors by spooking them a little bit too, right? So basically, this theory asserts that miners did this to show their dominance over the market, both in terms of mining share and their capability to influence the spot price. If that theory is true, then those moves paved the way for a major block halving rally, right? Because if all this is happening and it is being manipulated by the big Bitcoin miners, then you can only expect that after the halving, all that should, you know, it's like a rubber band, you know, like stretching a rubber band, and all this manipulation should at some point break, so to speak, and just go, you know, up, right? So all of it's going to be, you know, coming back around. It's just a pendulum. It's like everything else, you know, it's a cycle. So I think that's interesting information, and I was kind of, you know, it's kind of neat to read stuff like that and see that that is something that could be happening. So things are going to be really interesting for a while in the Bitcoin mining space for sure. They also have this going on. So Bitmain released, I don't know if they released the specs recently, but I know that the S19 is their newest miner. And it is, as stated here, far more powerful than previous mining rigs. Basically, it is each S19 Pro is 2 S17, because the S17 is 55 terahash and the S19 Pro is 110 terahash. Now, you know, at first you might be thinking, okay, so what? It's twice the hash rate. But never forget how much power it consumes. That is the key factor here. If you can get 2 S17s to operate at the electricity consumption that an S19 is, then you'll be fine. But that's not going to happen, right? Because the S19 is a far more efficient miner. I don't know all the details, like the nanometer processes and all that stuff. Maybe someone in the chat can probably, that knows that, could throw it over there. But basically, this is going to make pretty much every miner, from what I've read, it's going to make every other Bitcoin miner pretty much obsolete, because it consumes so little power but gets such great hash rate. So definitely something to keep your eye on if you're mining Bitcoin or into that space at all. And it looks like they are kind of front running a little bit. They're front running the halving, right? Because I think these are supposed to be released. Let's see. Customers who managed to get in on the first round can expect their units to arrive between May 11th and May 20th. So what have we also been talking about tonight? That is May 11th through the 20th is the halving, right? So don't you think that it's possible that they want to use these miners as much as possible before the halving, so that they can accumulate the most rewards with their extremely high-powered ASICs, right? It would make sense. I don't know. You know, there's all that conspiracy theory stuff going on with Bitmain and their ASICs and whether or not they use them to mine with and all that stuff. Yeah. So it is what it is. You think about it the way you want, but it definitely looks like that could be the case. Kind of front running the halving a little bit. And they actually sold out. A really good sign here is that they actually sold out within 24 hours of them being available. And that was to domestic local companies there in China near their factory. And I don't know if the May 11th to May 20th, that's not going to be like exports. I don't believe. You're going to be looking at months after that, I believe, for anyone in the US, for example, to actually get an S19 miner. So yeah, I mean, kind of read between the lines on that one. probably not a coincidence, you know, that they are releasing the miner around the same time as the halving. It looks like the regular S19, not the Pro, costs about 2,180, I believe, and the Pro costs 2,920. And you can see right here they've got shipping date to be determined for both the S19s, and it looks like the prices on the S17s are coming down quite a bit. So, you know, some people would look at this and go, okay, 16 terahash, you know, I could get, you know, some of these. I could get some T17s or S17s and you know, double up and be okay. But you're still, you know, really being limited by the power consumption. That's where these are going to excel, right? These are going to be so efficient that this one is going to be virtually unprofitable, you know, compared to this. So all right, so I got through pretty much everything I wanted to get through. Let me see who all's in chat. What's up, Serpent? Yeah, we already did the giveaway. You're a little late. Yeah, we did it. What's up, everybody in chat? If I haven't said your name, I apologize. See if y'all have been talking to me at all. Thanks for tuning in, Serpent. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's go check and see if Brandon Coin's got anything going on over here. It doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, I kept y'all busy for another 23 minutes anyway, I guess. So I guess Brandon Coin's not going live. Maybe Red Panda can pick it up. Where's he at? Or Serpent, you can pick it up. Or Crypto Mikkel. One of y'all go live. I watched your video today, Crypto Mikkel, too, on that BCU 1525. That's awesome. It's really cool. I can't wait to see more content on that thing. I want to see what it's all about. Very neat. Yeah, Red Panda's probably playing. He's not streaming though, it doesn't look like. Alright guys, I guess that's going to do it for me. I know there's 23 people in here, but I got to get out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. We are going to do another 2.2 ETH giveaway tomorrow. Same deal as today. I'll probably come up with some crazy question. You know, I'd like that. I like that kind of interaction. And plus, you know, it's like I like to be able to interact and have whatever the question is actually be a part of the content in the stream, right? So it kind of makes it pretty cool, you know, to do that. I like that kind of thing. So if you thought this was helpful or entertaining, or yeah, helpful or you know, what would be the word? I'm always at a loss for those words. You guys know what I'm talking about. If this was useful information and entertaining, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. I'm gonna do the giveaway again tomorrow night. Thanks to the mystery man. Yeah, very cool stuff. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Stay savage and also stay away from other people. 6 feet minimum. Don't touch anybody. I'll see you all tomorrow night.